Hey now, your Mortgage Man Dan here, coming to you with your For Realtors Only Friday Tip of the Week. This one actually kind of piggybacks on last week a little bit. This one is how do we get more current client referrals, or CCRs as we call them. And you might be asking, well, what's the big deal about current client referrals? And to be honest with you, in my eyes, a big part of it is about efficiency, and it's also a measure of how good a job that we're doing, right? If we're doing a solid job, if we're doing a good job and going above and beyond for our clients, which I know I am, and I know you are too, then that's an opportunity, a gold mine for us to ask for current client referrals. And doing so, we'll be able to get more business from the work that we're already doing anyway. So it only makes sense to do so, right? Now, there are a couple of ways to do it. One is during a wow or thank you moment when you're making your weekly update calls and the client says, oh my gosh, the flyers look fantastic, or that video you made looks amazing, thank you so much. That's the opportunity for you to say, oh my, really, it is totally my pleasure. And I love working with great people like you. It really just warms my heart. Let me ask you this. Who's the next person you know whose kids have moved out and they're kind of feeling like their house might be a little bit too big? Or who's the next person you know that's living in an apartment and would like to buy a home of their own, right? You have to be specific with your ask also. And by the way, it shouldn't be just you asking for those current client referrals. It should also be your team. You have a listing coordinator, if you have a closing coordinator, any kind of administrative person, a buyer partner, anybody who's dealing with your clients as well. When they get those thank you and ah and wow moments, they should be asking for those current client referrals as well. Another way to do it is through what's called the BRAG technique. And BRAG is an acronym that stands for B, blow it up, R, resolve it, A, acknowledge, and then G is go green, as in green like money for referrals. And the blow it up part is what you do is you build a real picture of the challenges that you confronted on behalf of your client. And you specifically describe what you did that required your time and your expertise, right? You build it up. The number of calls you made, the time you invested, the favors you may have called in to help get something solved for them. The R is resolve it, right? Explain exactly what you did to resolve the problem, and then and to deliver world-class service to your client. And like I said, include any special circumstances. For example, you could say something like, oh yes, I was working with I was trying to get with a lender who was ready to go home for the weekend, and I explained the urgency of what was going on, and I got them to stay on and help me get this solved for you. Right? That explains how you helped resolve it in special circumstances. Acknowledge, A is acknowledge how the resolution helps the client, and reaffirm that you have their best interests at heart. I know how important it is to you to sell this home and move to blah, blah, blah. I know how important buying this home is to you. Acknowledge how important what you're helping them do is. And then the G, to go green, after they say thank you, after they say, you get that specific ask in. Like I said, who's the next person who might be changing jobs in your company that might need to relocate? Right? So specifically ask those questions. Those are great ways to get current client referrals and help grow your business from what you're already doing. Efficiency, not bad, right? I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.